Okay, so the preterists attempt to refute the dispensational teaching of a 7 year period of great tribulation, during which time the rise of the Antichrist will take place, and most of the events of the book of Revelation 6 through 9, Revelation chapter 6 through 19 will only play out during that last 7 year period of great tribulation. Well, where does that come from? That comes from Daniel 9:24 through 27, a misreading and abuse of Daniel 9:24 through 27. And the 70 weeks have been decreed for your people, the Jews. So, what they assert, the dispensational futurists, is they assert that 69 weeks were fulfilled at the triumphal entry of Christ into Jerusalem and his subsequent crucifixion, death, burial, resurrection, and ascension into heaven. And then the prophetic time clock stopped at the end of the 69th week, and then there's a big time gap of almost 2,000 years before the 70th week will begin to play out, only after a mythical pre-trib rapture, and then the 7 year period of great tribulation, taken from a false interpretation of the 70th week of Daniel 9:24 through 27. So that's what the preterists will try to refute, and they'll say the abomination of desolation took place, Matthew chapter 24, in 70 AD. And they are right about that, but that's not the time-specific part of the prophecy. We need to get to the time specifics of this prophecy. We need to lay this out here. So let's do this. The 70th week of Daniel 9:24 through 27 started at the baptism of Jesus and the beginning of his earthly ministry. And about 3 to 3.5 years, again, this is the 70th week, or 7 years, the last 7 years of the 70th week of Daniel 9:24 through 27. And started, the 70th week started at the baptism, went about 3 to 3.5 years into Jesus' earthly ministry, and then was crucified, died, buried, resurrection, and ascension into heaven, Acts chapter 1, verses 9 through 11, Revelation 12:5. The male child was caught up, raptured, harpazoed to God and to his throne. That is the ascension. And then, so that's the first part of the 70th week. The next part of the 70th week, the next 3.5 years of the apostles' ministry, primarily to the Jews, to the end of the 70th week, which ended at the stoning of Stephen in Acts chapter 7. Stephen was the last prophet to the Jews. Acts chapter 7, Stephen gives a covenantal lawsuit against unbelieving Jews, similar to the prophets of the Old Testament who gave covenantal lawsuits against an unbelieving Israel or unbelieving Jews. Okay? So that is the whole thing. But how do we begin this? Well, there are 4 possible commencement dates to begin the 490 years. One is the decree of Cyrus. These are all given. Here, let me go back up. This is a long paper. So 4 possible commencement dates for the beginning of the 70 weeks, or 490-year prophecy of Daniel 9:24 through 27. One is the decree of Cyrus, given in about 538/537 BC. The reason why we write a backslash is because we don't know if Daniel is using the Jewish New Year start date of the New Year or the Babylonian start date for the New Year. I think one was in the fall, one was in the spring, so we kind of write a backslash here. But that decree of Cyrus is found in Ezra chapter 1, 1 through 4. It's reiterated in Ezra 6, 3 through 5, and then found in 2 Chronicles 36, 22 to 23. And then the next one is the decree of Darius, which was a reiteration of the decree of Cyrus. So nothing new given by Darius. And then number 3, the first decree of Artaxerxes. That's the appropriate start date. That's found in Ezra chapter 7, verses 1 through 26, 458 to 457. So that's where we're going to add our 483 years, or 69 weeks, is to this date. The dispensational futurists usually, for the most part, you'll find dispensational futurists who disagree with this, but mostly they'll begin with the second decree of Artaxerxes in 444/445 BC, found in Nehemiah chapter 2. Now, I would argue this wasn't an official royal decree. It was simply passport letters given to Nehemiah to take his journey from Babylon to Judah, to do some repair work to a city that had already been undergoing reconstruction for about 13 years during the time of Ezra, before Nehemiah made his journey. So this is the wrong date. So let's examine each of these in order. The royal decree of Cyrus only dealt with the building of the temple or house of God, and the royal decree of Darius was only a reiteration of this decree of Cyrus. Thus, it only had to do with the rebuilding of the temple as well. Now, the first royal decree of Artaxerxes, given to Ezra in Ezra chapter 7, was a royal decree which allowed Ezra to, read the text, appoint magistrates and judges who may judge all the people in the province beyond the river, that is Judah, and all such as know the laws of your God, and those who do not know them you shall teach. Whoever will not obey the law of your God and the law of the king, let judgment be strictly executed upon him, whether for death or banishment, confiscation of goods, or imprisonment, etc. Ezra chapter 7. That's the real decree. The second decree of Artaxerxes given to Nehemiah was not an official royal decree. Rather, it consisted of letters given to Nehemiah to present to the governors of the province beyond the river, that they may let me, Nehemiah, pass through until I come to Judah. So this was actually a private letter given to Nehemiah to engage in some repair work to the gates of the temple and city wall, which had apparently been damaged by some overzealous Samaritans who were opposing the rebuilding of the rebellious city. So what of the talk in Nehemiah chapter 2? It says, if it pleases the king and if I found favor in your sight, that you send me to Judah, to the city, that I may rebuild it. Doesn't this decree have something to do with the rebuilding of the city? No. Okay, no. The city had already been undergoing reconstruction for roughly 13 years before Nehemiah's appeal to Artaxerxes and subsequent mission to Jerusalem. It appears that Ezra chapter 7 inferred from that first decree made by Artaxerxes, not just passport letters given to Nehemiah, but an official royal decree that allowed him to not only appoint magistrates and judges, but that these magistrates and judges would need to have a place from which to fulfill their administrative duties. And that in fact they had already begun reconstruction of the city proper, not just the temple, by the time Nehemiah came to Jerusalem. Nehemiah's repair work only took 52 days, Nehemiah 6:15, hardly enough time to complete the rebuilding of an entire city. Ezra 4, we have a number of issues the Jews faced from primarily Samaritan adversaries in rebuilding not only the temple but the city itself. Samaritans even wrote a letter to King Artaxerxes saying in part that the Jews were rebuilding that rebellious and wicked city, and that if this city is rebuilt and its walls finished, you will have no possession in the province beyond the river. Okay, so a lot of intrigue, Mossad, like CIA stuff going on here. The often erratic Artaxerxes did cause reconstruction to cease for a time until further notice. But rather than simply letters given to Nehemiah, as recorded in Nehemiah chapter 2, it's the royal decree of Artaxerxes given in 458/457 BC with permission to appoint magistrates and judges that best fits the beginning date for the prophecy of Daniel 9:24-27 in the 70 weeks time prophecy. And then we just need to do some math. Just add 483 years or 69 weeks, day equals year principle, to this date of Cyrus decree, 538/537. And you come to 55/54 BC. This is way too early for the time of the Messiah. Darius decree in 520 BC. Add 483 years, you come to 37 BC. Again, way too early for the time of the Messiah. And these only dealt with the temple reconstruction, not the city proper. But if we begin in Ezra 7 with the decree of Artaxerxes given to Ezra in 458/457 and add 483 years to that, we come to 26/27 AD, the perfect time for the baptism of Jesus Christ by John the Baptist and the starting point of the fulfillment of the 70th week and Christ's roughly 3 to 3.5 year earthly ministry before his crucifixion, death, burial, resurrection, and ascension into heaven. Then the following 3.5 years, the apostles preached primarily to the Jews until the stoning of Stephen in Acts chapter 7. This decree of Artaxerxes in Nehemiah chapter 2, passport letters, not an official royal decree, 444-445 BC, add 483 years, you come to 38 or 39 AD. This is way too late for the triumphal entry of Christ into Jerusalem. Now, the dispensational futurists will attempt to reconcile this failure of math with the assertion that the Jews only used a 360-day strict calendar, and this is without substantiation, since the Jews always reconciled their 360-day practical year with what they knew to be an actual 365.25-day solar year by adding an entire month to their calendar every 6th year. So again, I reiterate, The 70th week of Daniel, 9:24 through 27, includes the baptism of Jesus, the beginning of his earthly ministry, his crucifixion about 3 to 3.5 years into his ministry, his resurrection and ascension, and then the subsequent 3.5 years, the rest of the 70th week of the apostles preaching primarily to the Jews. Remember, that whole prophecy is 70 weeks are decreed for your people, the Jews specifically. After this, the gospel goes out to the rest of the world. Saul or Paul is converted after this, and then the gospel goes out to the rest of the world. So Acts chapter 7, Stephen gives a covenantal lawsuit against unbelieving Jews. Stephen was the last prophet to the Jews, similar to the prophets of old, who all gave covenantal lawsuits against unbelieving Israel or unbelieving Jews. Okay, so Stephen fulfilled that in Acts chapter 7. So the dispensational futurists know that their math doesn't add up, and so they just simply claim that the Jews dispensational futurists will attempt to argue and reconcile their math. Their math doesn't add up, and make 483 years, or the 69 weeks, 476 literal years, and say that, if you use 483 solar years, you're wrong. And it's like, nope, you're wrong, because dispensational futurists falsely assert that the Jews only used a 360-day year. And for practical purposes, they did. But for their actual calculations, they used the 365.24 and some change day solar year. Nearly all peoples of the ancient Near East used a practical yearly calendar of 360 days because they used a 12-month, 30-day each calendar based on the lunar cycle. However, all the peoples of the ancient Near East had differing ways of reconciling this 360-day year based on 12 months of the lunar calendar with the actual 365.25-day solar year. The Jews would add an entire month of 30 days to their 12-month calendar every sixth year to make up for this discrepancy. So every sixth year, they had 13 months of 30 days each to make up for the discrepancy between lunar monthly and solar yearly calendar dates or times. Okay? So that's why they're in error. Their math doesn't add up. They try to reconcile their math with a false assertion that the Jews were too dumb to realize that the solar year did not coincide specifically with the lunar monthly year. They were not dumb. They knew these things. The Jews would add an entire month every sixth year to their calendar, 13 months of 30 days every 6 years. It was their leap year. That's basically what they did. So the 490 years actually has everything to do with Jesus Christ. And then, of course, the abomination of desolation would come after the time prophecy was fulfilled in about 33, 34 AD with the stoning of Stephen. Then about 36, 37 years later, the temple would be destroyed along with the city of Jerusalem, the abomination of desolation, which Jesus prophesied in Matthew chapter 24. But preterists don't do well when they don't deal with the math that has been given by dispensational futurists and refute their math. Their math does not add up. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. I tried not to make this too long, but substantive, hopefully, and let me know if I needed to slow down or I need to go back over that paper once again, and the proper start date for that 70 weeks have been decreed for your people. Daniel 9:24 through 27 is a messianic prophecy and has nothing to do with the Antichrist. We'll talk to you soon. Soli Deo Gloria.